Good morning, Seahawks, faculty, guests, and everybody who's just enjoying their day. My name is Mr. King. I'm your host and fellow Seahawk representing our North Campus. You can find me on social media at Meet Mr. King. It's your source of just a good time and inspiration. We are back with another episode of our Who Are You series here at Broward College. I appreciate the feedback. I hope you're having a great time with these. It's been very informative for us all. Remember, it's a career exploration series where students will be able to learn about the various types of careers within their pathway. You also get the educational paths available to you at Broward College, and you get to hear from working professionals and advisors within that pathway to learn how to be successful in that industry. This series is meant to help those of you who are currently thinking about school, enrolled in the school, or coming back to school to learn about the different career paths you can take here at Broward College. Continue to follow us on social media at BC North SL for all future episodes and the previous episodes as well. Today, guys, is another special one. It's dedicated to our protectors, the public safety pathway. If you love CSI, this one's for you. If you want to save some lives, this one's for you. If you want to be a hero in the community, this is definitely the pathway for you. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce my guest, Assistant Professor Andrew Smalling. Mr. Smalling, how you doing this morning, sir?
Doing well. How you doing today, Mr. King?
I'm excellent. I'm feeling good. You're looking good, brother. This is going to be a really great conversation. I'm going to just throw out the Andrew Smalling from there. I see a little bit of the Caribbean in there.
Yes,
So
sir.
from our Caribbean fans,
That's
just
right.
have a good time with us today as well, okay? All right, so Mr. Smalling, please tell us a little bit about your journey here at Broward College. How did you come to, be one of our great professors?
Well, sure. My background is actually law enforcement related. I come from 24 years of law enforcement experience. I actually retired as the former chief of police in the city of Lauderhill.
Wow.
And 20 years with the Broward Sheriff's Office, and was a district chief or a captain within the Broward Sheriff's Office. So while I was at those two places in my law enforcement career, I was actually an adjunct faculty and taught in the Criminal Justice Institute at Central Campus. So I was doing that in the evenings. Once I retired from law enforcement in 2015, I came on board as a full-time professor.
Wonderful. See, I love the experience that we're getting here at Broward College. You've been in the field, and it's always great to learn from someone who's done something that you're thinking about doing. And being a
Absolutely.
man of the community, especially you said 24 years, just tell me, did you take a path of going to college to get into this career, or was this something that you just said, you know what, I want to save some lives. This is for me.
Actually, I was in the military before I actually started police work. And previous to that, I was in college. So I actually went through a couple of different stages before I got into police work, and then even before becoming a professor. I always had a love for teaching. And, it's easy for me to teach and to advise students about their dreams because I've actually done it. And I tell my students, college is a benefit. College is something that you want to have, in your pocket. Nobody can ever take it away from you. And it helps you along the way. When we look at promotional exams and things like that in law enforcement, really in any area of criminal justice, we always look for people who have some kind of college education. And, it doesn't necessarily have to be a master's degree or a PhD. If you're doing your associates, if you started your associates and you have some college credits, there are certain fields within criminal justice that require a 4-year degree. But, for local policing and things like that, an associate's will get you there. So.
Beautiful. That is amazing to know. And mind you, I'm in the communications path and I'm just about finished getting my associate. So just knowing that me going for just those 2 years has opened up the doors for so many more opportunities. And you just touched on something really great that if you'd like to advance, college is something that's still being looked at on resumes and when you guys are looking for talent. Am I correct in saying that?
That's absolutely correct. So in law enforcement, it's actually required, I think for the management level, lieutenants and above in most administrations and most departments, that they want you to have at least a bachelor's degree.
Hmm.
Above that is usually a master's degree. Most of your police chiefs, your sheriff, people like that are going to have master's degrees, usually in criminal justice or business, something similar to that. And most departments now are looking, when they're recruiting, they're looking for people with associate degrees. So the 2-year degree definitely helps. For federal law enforcement, their requirements are 4-year degrees. So your FBI, DEA, agencies like that, ATF, they require a 4-year bachelor's degree before they even look at your application.
Wow. I'm learning something new every day. I always assumed that if you just went to the academy that you would, you're shoo-in, you could just work your way up. But again, that college degree is coming in handy because it's teaching you those management skills, leadership skills, and things of that nature. For those of you, who are watching who may not be too sure what career paths are available to them in this pathway. Can you just share, because you said lieutenant, FBI, ATF,
Sure.
can you just share some of the careers that can take place if you were to take this path?
Sure. Well, there's a lot that goes into criminal justice. We have local law enforcement, we have state law enforcement, we have federal law enforcement. In the local realm, which is usually what we know about, our local police departments, your Fort Lauderdale Police Department, your sheriff's office, your Miami-Dade Police Department. A lot of those have skills or have jobs within those departments that are specialties. So for instance, one of the programs that's very popular at the Institute for Public Safety is our crime scene program. Part of our AS degree, and it's actually a AS degree with a specialty in or an emphasis in crime scene personnel. So in that particular program, that's where you see, CSI, the people that go out for prints and, they're around the dead bodies and stuff like that. Those are the individuals that would go into this program. They would get that particular degree, they would get the experience, and then be able to get jobs in that particular field. For law enforcement, as a detective, there are certain specialties once you become a police officer where you'd actually come back to the police academy, and this is where it becomes professional development, where you would take courses for that specific specialty. So for instance, if you wanted to be a homicide detective, there's a lot of folks, they see it on TV, say,
Right.
I want to be as a homicide detective. Well, the first step is you have to become a police officer. So you have to apply, become a police officer. You might have to spend a couple of years as a police officer and work your way up to the detective's position. And the specialty, to learn that specialty, you might have to take a homicide course, which is something that we have at the academy in IPS, where we'd actually teach that type of instruction. So those are the different things, some of the different things. I mean, there's a multitude. We have a specialty for polygraphers, somebody who wants to do the polygraph machine or the polygraph test. We actually have a specialty in that. We have a specialty, a certificate program in Homeland Security. So if you want to go into like the Department of Homeland Security, terrorism, things like that, you would take that specific certificate program, and that will help you along the way. Now remember, most of those federal agencies still require the 4-year degree. So this is just a start. You're getting a start here if that's something that you want to do, and then you finish up for your 4-year degrees.
That's excellent. And what I loved about what you just said is that even if you were to jump into the AS or the AA program, you can immediately get into the field. You can
Correct.
start building and start working. And a lot of our young adults, and especially those who are thinking about changing your career or coming back, and you've had kids, you're married and all those things. If you get this AA and AS, you can go start working. And then as you're working, you can start building towards the bachelor's, and it'll just kind of run together. Am I correct in saying that?
That's correct. As a matter of fact, one of the benefits of starting a college program is that on your resume, you can actually put that you are in that particular program, whether it's the AA or the AS. If you apply to a police department, and you could tell them how many credits you have, and that goes towards that process, that hiring process, where you will be chosen. You have a good chance or a better chance of being chosen over someone that has no college.
Love it. And see, I'm a dad, so I always try to speak in life into my child, and especially those in the community that, your education, like you said, is something that I learned can't be taken away from you. And if you want to grow and advance in life, then why not give yourself something that all it's going to take is your effort and work to get, that's going to help you grow moving on in the future. Now, for those, go ahead.
One more thing, let me add, because I forgot to add this part, and this is always important to people. Most police agencies actually pay for you to get your degree. How about that?
Come on. If you didn't catch anything from this conversation so far, that you should get pen, paper, and start researching and reaching out now. Because yes, that is one of the biggest obstacles that students face when they're thinking about a new career or advancing in life, is who's going to pay for this? And a lot of people shy away from school. For that could be a reason, or some people don't know if they have the time to do it. Is there somewhere in this pathway, and I feel like you touched on it, but I just want you to go a little deeper. Yes, you can go get your 4-year degree so you can advance. You can go to the AA and the AS program to get you started. But is there some form of certification that you can earn coming over to Broward College that can help get you in a career field quicker if you wanted to get out there in the field and start working?
Sure. We have a couple of certificates within our program. We have a criminal justice technology certificate that is a number of classes that you would take that will help you along. We also have the Homeland Certificate, Homeland Security Certificate, which is another one. So one is 21 hours, 21 credit hours. The other one is 9 credit hours. And those are things that will help you to get that position as well. But, the certificates are there, and the certificates are nice, but the way I like to do it, and I like to tell students that they need to do it, is get the degree with the certificate. Don't get the certificate, because the certificate is not going to be enough. The certificate is a start. It's a good start, but it's not going to land you the job. Just having that certificate won't land you the job. It's best to get your degree. It's best if you can get experience on the job. Some of the things that we haven't talked about is actually on the job training, especially for something like crime scene. You're gonna have to have that technical expertise, and a lot of times you won't get that just from the educational environment. You have to go out there, be in the job, or you may have to volunteer. You may have to go to that police department and be an intern and volunteer your time to kind of get to know the field, get to know the people, and that might be a way to get your foot in the door as well.
That's beautiful. And again, if you're paying attention, this is really great advice and information that you can use to help propel you within this pathway. Mr. Smalling, I'm a big advocate of be the change that you want to see. And Broward College can be the product of our next community hero. With all the negative attention surrounding law enforcement, how do you encourage potential students to join this pathway?
Well, a lot of our students come already willing, ready, and able. I really don't, it's not a matter of talking somebody into the position. And let me just say that our pathway not only has individuals that are going into law enforcement, we have individuals that are going into law, right? We have people that want to become lawyers, not just police officers. We have corrections officers, we have probation and parole officers. So it's very diverse.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I'm teaching this semester, and I always like to ask my students, why are you taking this? What's your goal? And I have, such diversity. I have some students that don't even know what they want to do. They're just kind of, finding their way, and they thought this might be an interesting pathway to pursue. So as far as your question, talking people into it, I find, I have an intro class, an intro to criminal justice that I just taught this morning. I have 23 students in my class. And, those are 23 people who are interested in the profession. I mean,
Love it. You got to love it. No convincing. They want it already. If anything,
they
they're just
want,
hungry and they're waiting for you to feed them, is what it sounds like to me.
so,
That's no, you
when
please
you,
continue.
and when you talk about that, and I hear your question, with all that's happening in our discussion today, we talked about that. We talked about police brutality. We talked about excessive use of force. We talked about the things that are occurring in real time, out there in the field. And you'd be surprised on some of the responses from, some of my students, and these are diverse students. These are Black students, Latina students, from all over, all walks of life. And, their perspective and their views may not necessarily be, well, the cops are always wrong, or
Mm-hmm.
the cops are right, but they understand that there's a balance. And, one of the examples I give is that you may not, in that 2-second clip on TV that they always like to show, you may not get the full picture of everything
Right.
that happened, right? And they understand that. And I think that, a lot of our students, and I'm encouraged by this, that a lot of our students that are coming into the field, they want to truly make a difference. They want it to be better. Obviously, there's more that can be done to make our field better. Just like if you're not growing, you're dying. Okay, and we don't want to be dying.
Listen, that's one of my sayings. If you don't grow, you don't go. So you absolutely right in saying that. And what you did, what kind of made me feel even more comfortable in what you just said is that we're not using outdated material. We're
Right.
talking about what's going on right now. And
Mhm.
then you're driving an important conversation so we all can see how we're different, but then they're in the right place for us to come to a common ground. Let's all figure
Right.
this out together. Let's find the balance. Let's see how we can do better. And
That's right.
this is another reason why I love being here at Broward College. I love that you're a
Mhm.
part of this family because
Thank you.
your wealth of knowledge can come in and give scenarios, real life stories. There's nothing like a good testimony to get someone to go, you know what? I might, you know what, this might be for me and this may not be for me, but it's those stories that are so important. What are some of the challenges you faced as just a professor in this pathway, if you had any?
Um, Well, there's always going to be challenges. I don't like to talk about the negative part. I like to talk about the part. If I have one student that gets it and that's doing what needs to be done, and I challenge that student, I challenge my students, and they rise to the challenge, I'm happy. I'm happy, and and that's the way I live my life. That's I come here and I'm looking for that diamond in the rough, and I think I'm here to encourage that student or those students if they really want to apply themselves. If I could say anything that discourages me is that students who kind of just want to ride with the tide, and not really put the effort into it. And it's like when you're fishing and you just put the bait out there and you're not really working it and you expect to get a catch. You got to work for it. And I think most professors probably have that same attitude that, we've done it. We're here. We're trying to give it to you now. It's up to you to take it. And, different professors have different ways of, producing material or imparting that knowledge. But it's at the end of the day, it's still up to the student to receive it and do the work necessary to get that good grade.
I love that you keep a positive atmosphere. That's exactly what we need more of. I try to drive positivity in everything that I do. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I wasn't in this communication pathway, this conversation alone has me super interested in going, okay, well, maybe I might want to just check it out, or at least
You can still check
investigate
it
it a
out.
bit more. I mean, because I saw what some of the, you see how much money you can make in a career field of this nature. I see what wardens make. And when you do climb that ladder into public safety. So if you are listening, please visit our website, broward.edu. Check out this pathway. And look at me. I'm getting excited already. You got the mic moving all over the place, but that's okay. That's what we do. This is what makes this exciting. But I'm gonna tell a personal story. I'm just about wrapped up my AA degree, and I was going through a really rough time when I started school. And I had transfers, and I had to go back and forth, and I was trying not to be discouraged, and it just felt like I was feeling defeated. And then one day I went to speak to my academic advisor, and they kind of showed me where my classes were and what I should be taking, what I shouldn't be taking. And the associate dean of this pathway, Mr. Nguyen, he saw when I was frustrated and I was trying to figure out what to do, and I didn't want to get emotional. He came over and he said, come on, come to my office. He sat down and he went through my audit. And I didn't think, my situation was more important than anyone else's, but it was that time that he took for that individual care that stands out in my mind. And what makes me appreciate being here even more. Can you share a little bit about, from your perspective, how the staff and your support assists the Seahawks that we have here on North Campus?
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the reason why we're here. I mean, as a professor, I've been an associate dean as well in my short time as full-time faculty. I was an associate dean for a year. And it's all about the students. And, we actually wish more students would reach out to us and try to find out information, how they could do better. I've helped so many students as far as what you just said, looking at their audit, looking at courses that they may not need to take, and courses that they should be taking, that's important. I always tell students, listen, don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Know what you want to do, right? Come in. If you don't know a specific program, do the AA, the Associate of Arts, get all your requirements done, and you can make up whatever you're going to do as your discipline. You can do that in your last 2 years of college if you so desire, or you could just get your AA, try to figure it out along the way, come back, go to a four-year college, whatever it is. But don't waste your time and waste your money by taking courses that you may not necessarily want to do. Get frustrated. I heard you say that you were frustrated at the time. So I think that's a very big role that we play as professors and advisors. I always tell my students, and we touch our students in the classroom. So I always see those students who may be having a little trouble, and I always reach out to them and ask them, what's going on? Sometimes they may not want to talk about what's going on, whatever it is, but just know that we are there. If you're going through some kind of situation that's causing you not to get an assignment in on time, or you don't understand the material, whatever it is, make sure you reach out to your professor and let them know, because most of us are willing to work with you. We're willing to work with the students and making them succeed, because when they succeed, when the student succeeds, we succeed as faculty.
That is amazing. And again, that's why I appreciate being a Seahawk. And it shows that we are all a team. And I love the fact that you just said it's about the student, and you have an open door policy. And
Yes.
I can see why you're here, Mr. Smalling. So again, thank you so much for your time. I don't want to take up too much of it, but if there was any last words you wanted to share with the audience, you've been amazing. You dropped so many incredible gems. I was over here taking notes as we're speaking because it was just such great information. But anything you would like to share before you go?
Well, Broward College is the best bang for the buck. All right. Broward College is where I think anybody, I don't care if you were planning to go to Harvard, MIT, Yale, FAU, it doesn't matter. You can get a real good education at Broward College. The professors are knowledgeable. Like you said, Mr. King, we have people with experience. I could tell you at the Institute for Public Safety, everyone there is somebody connected to law enforcement in some way. Either we're retired, we're currently working in law enforcement, whatever it is. So you have that real life experience. You have that for you there. So Broward College is the best bang for the buck. The money that you pay for this education, it's bar none. It's above average, and it's well worth it because you can go to a 4-year institution, take the classes that you're taking here at Broward College, and you're gonna pay a lot more, and you may not have as good a professor. So this is a good education. You just gotta apply yourself. Don't get frustrated. If you get a professor like me who makes you write research papers and do things like that, we're doing it because we want you to be the best that you can do.
Listen, that's an old Caribbean, I can just feel my grandmother coming out of you right now. Look, I'm only doing this because it's best for you, but it's great. You're expanding knowledge, you're stretching your students, you want them to grow, you want to see them succeed, and you want to see the best for them. This has been one of my most incredible interviews to date, Mr. Smalling, and I just appreciate the knowledge that you shared with the audience today. If there's any contact information you want to share, even if it's an email address in case some of us have questions, do you mind?
I don't mind at all. It's A. Smallin, Smallin. Actually, my name is Smallling, but you know how that goes. They cut off some of the letters. A. Smallin at Broward.edu, and you can contact me via email anytime.
Beautiful. Don't worry, my last name is Gillings, and then the Gilling is in there too. So we're in the same boat together, brother. But thank you so much, Mr. Smalling. You have been amazing. Everyone tuned in, everyone who's been providing feedback and watching the episodes, thank you. We just want to help you. This is not for us. This is for you. Once again, I'm your host, Meet Mr. King. You can follow me on Meet Mr. King, Instagram, and you can tune in again for our next episode. This has been Mr. Smalling. Again, I'm Mr. King. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Later, guys.